Games are 1 and 2 as their new look lineup finds its feet under new coach Guy Malloy. With star recruits Kayla George and Lauren Nicholson leading the way, it's surely only a matter of time. But they need to keep in touch with the leading pack while they fast-track their new combinations. The Canberra Capitals are 0 and 2, but they've been competitive in both their outings as they learn to embrace the offensive freedom they're receiving from second-year coach Kristen Veal. And with Jade Melbourne and Alex Sharp setting the tempo, the Caps are dangerous on any given night. It's round 3 action. It's the Flames and the Caps on ESPN. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to WNBL Wednesdays. Thanks to Forward Aussie Hoops, Jason Bennett alongside Laurie Chiswick. And Laurie, we're cautious not to read too much into the early rounds until teams really settle in to their seasons. But having said that, the reality is you've got to keep up with the leading pack, and that's where the Sydney Flames are at right now.
Absolutely, Jason. And you don't want to sort of mount a few losses there. Now, we know they've got some injuries out there. Their new coach, they're trying to understand the systems and that. But they will be very keen, especially on their home court, to get a W tonight.
Let's check the ladder through 2 rounds of action. We've got 2 undefeated teams and 2 winless teams. The Boomers and the Lynx at the top of the table, the Spirit and the Caps down the bottom, and the other 4 somewhere in between, Laurie. So, as we see tonight, big difference tonight for the Flames. They can get out of tonight with a win. They're 2 and 2, very different to 1 and 3.
Absolutely, and as you say, early days, you know, it looks very crowded out there, but there's very, very quickly that gaps can change and happen and split up the top 4 and bottom 4.
It's time now to welcome in the 3rd member of our WNBL Wednesday night call team. It's Megan Huswaite. She's courtside. Evening, Megs.
Good evening, Jace. Good evening, Laurie. From the Quaycentre, which has been somewhat of a construction site, a buzzing one today. That is because there was water damage here prior to the Asia Cup in June and July, which has damaged the court and means that the court from Kudos Arena, where the Sydney Kings played, has to be shipped in over here. It's been pieced together piece by piece like a jigsaw puzzle, and that will be the case for the near future this WNBL season. So a lot of busyness going on here today just to get the court ready for tonight's game, and then after it will be shipped back to Kudos Arena for the Sydney Kings' next NBL game.
Thanks, Megs. Megan Huswaite, courtside at Quayside Arena. And well, this season's Sydney Flames, Laurie, bit of a Boomers flavour to them, aren't there? The championship coach Guy Malloy, Kayla George has come across, Tess Madgen as well. She's out at the moment with a knee injury. Shanice Swain at the moment has come across from Canberra, rehabbing a stress fracture in her foot. So we know a Guy Malloy team is going to be highly structured. What's on his whiteboard tonight?
Well, I think one of the things that he would have talked about after that last game was we need to try and execute the game plan for full 40 minutes. Last time they were outscored in the 3rd quarter by 10 points and only scored 13 points. And otherwise they were well and truly equal with the Melbourne Boomers. So keeping that offense ticking over for a full 40 minutes. And the other thing is their shooting form. You know, they've done some good looks out of their offense with dribble penetration and then kicking it out to their 3-point shooters, but they just haven't been dropping it, and they really need to make sure that that happens.
Yeah, their last for 3-point percentage is just 26%, which would suit Canberra perfectly tonight if they can get out on transition off the back of missed shots. Well, they've brought in winners, Laurie. You look at the names, we mentioned a couple of them in George and Madgen, and this lady, Lauren Nicholson, who's been a winner everywhere she's gone. She's got her 3rd stint with the Flames. She brings leadership and experience.
Absolutely, and she also brings, and we talked about that 3-point shooting. She can shoot the 3 ball, and so she needs to light it up. But it's great to see that she's returned to New South Wales. That's where she started her WNBL career. She's had to learn a different role under new coach Guy Malloy and all his new structures.
Speaking of Guy, great to have him back in the WNBL, the 2-time Coach of the Year. His 15th season in the league. He's made finals in 10 of his previous 14, so they're in good hands. And he caught up a little earlier with Megs.
What does the identity of the new look Flames look like?
I think it'll take a bit of time to come together because they're a bit, learning mode at the moment. And so some of our play is a bit patchy. I reckon it'll take us 4 or 5 weeks to kind of get through that. But nothing too much will change. I mean, teams tend to, have a spread of scoring and move the ball around a bit, and hopefully play some good defence. And I think that'll take a bit of time to emerge. So I'm hoping we build patiently over the year.
Just finally, it seems like the thing that's taken the most time is adjusting to the Sydney traffic for you.
Yeah, don't start me on Sydney traffic. Melbourne's a different place, so it's definitely got it on Sydney, though, for traffic.
Thanks, Guy. Good luck tonight.
Thanks to Guy Malloy. Well, Kristen Veal into her second season as Caps coach. She's implementing a more instinctive freestyle offense. Laurie gives her players the green light to call plays on the fly. What's on Kristen's wish list tonight?
Well, I think it would have to be defense. You know, yet, as you say, they can score, but they need to try and keep teams under 80 points. You know, be accountable for your player. Try and be a little bit more disruptive. Turnovers, try and force teams into turnovers, and don't overhelp. Secondly, communication's really important. When you talk about a younger team, or a team that's still getting used to playing together, and you talk about defense, it's got to be communicate. You've got to communicate switches, point, be assertive with whatever you do. And I think Kristen Veal will be talking about those things.
Yeah, 5th for offense, last for defense through a couple of games. Well, Gemma Potter, one of Australia's most promising young prospects, but Kristen Veal says that after 2 knee reconstructions this season, Laurie, a bit of a free hit for her. Just get out there, play, find your feet, no burden of expectation.
Isn't that great to just see her back out there after those 2 devastating? The timing of them both was just so upsetting for her, but it's good to see her back. She's on limited minutes. She's not starting. They're easing her back in here. And I love the fact that she's taken some support and inspiration from Christy Wallace, who also did her 2 ACLs and, you know, has gone on to have a stellar career so far, as we've seen in the last couple of years. So great support from her, and great to see Gemma Potter out there.
So no Alex Fowler tonight for the Caps. She's out with illness. The Caps hope she'll be back for the Townsville game this Saturday night. They've brought in a new face. Jade Kirasami's joined the roster for the Caps as we take a look at the Flames and their starting 5.
No changes there. That was pretty set for the last few games, and some real experience, and especially with Vanessa Panousis coming off the bench.
There's the starting 5 for the Caps. Sydney won all 3 games against Canberra last season. Very different looking Flames lineup, however, hitting the floor at the Quaycentre tonight. It's the Flames and the Caps. ESPN's WNBL Wednesday, thanks to Ford Aussie Hoops. And away we go. First possession, Caps. Melbourne. Good start for Canberra. And N1 straight off the bat.
Couldn't ask for a better start. And Munger, that was a really good decision of her to get the ball and just go to the basket hard. Absorb that contact. She really initiated the contact, which is what you want. And now she finds herself at the line.
So that actually didn't go in for the opening points, but she can go back and shoot 2.
That shows just the aggressive mindset that Canberra have when they come out. You know, they're not afraid to do anything. They don't have, they're young, they don't have that fear, and what a great way to start this game.
Nicole Munger, averaging 11.6 rebounds, 2 assists so far in her WNBL career, playing game number 19 this evening. What a handy pickup she was midway through last season. Nicholson from long range. What a great start for Lauren Nicholson.
That's an action that we'll see a lot throughout this game. They used it a few times at the start of the Melbourne game, where Nicholson comes off of 2 screens and has her feet set to score.
Rattles around and out. As we said pre-game, expect the Caps to air it out tonight. This is Dee Richards, who's made a really impressive start to this season.
That is her athleticism on display straight away. Just a little spin move to the basket.
24-year-old, played a college ball at Baylor. Spent a couple of seasons in the WNBA with the New York Liberty. Melbourne flings it around. Tough finish there for Munger. Won't go, but Bunton there to keep it alive for Canberra. Back out now to Melbourne. He's been at the heart of Guy Malloy's scouting report, and he won't like the look of that.
What a strong crossover that was from Jade Melbourne to find herself wide open doing a layup.
It's waltzed straight up the middle. Adds 2 more. There's a foul. So from a defensive perspective for the Caps, they know they don't have the experience of Sydney. They've asked their players to do their study, learn what Kayla and Lauren and Emma Clark, etc. are going to do. What are their tendencies? You've got to learn these things when you're new to the league. Bunton and George know each other pretty well. That's a lovely feed from Kayla through to Dee Richards.
It's so nice to see that chemistry early on in the season between Kayla, George, and Richards, who haven't had any opportunity to really play together.
Here's another look at the feed. Look at that, just found her through traffic.
And that's one thing Kayla is very good at. She's a very good passer. She has great court vision, can find her open teammates.
Foul against Melbourne. So they're Cough up possession to Sydney. George. Thought about taking on Bunton. Long range again. They're on early. Paige Bradley. This is a sharp start from Sydney. Melbourne almost loses the handle. Being pressured by Clark. Okoye. And she drains an early one, Laurie. We saw last week. Couldn't get it to drop early. Nailed a couple late. But she's on song early tonight.
And she is an elite three-point shooter, so if she can find her rhythm early, that'll be great for the Caps.
Richards bounces it through to George. Not quite. Sharp. Here's Okoye. Played back to the basket. Or can do moves like that.
You see, she didn't do that last week. She parked herself at the three-point line, and we talked about if you're not hitting, try and find different ways and means of scoring, and that was just a great example.
She's got a lot of elements to her game. Just starting to see her come out of her shell a little bit, Monica Okoye. Here's George from three. Melbourne with the board. So a bright start from both teams. We spoke pre-game. It's not so much about offense, but they both know they can score. It's going to be who can restrict the other on D tonight. Nicholson leaves it behind. Bunton scraps with Richards. Jump ball. Let's head courtside to Mex.
Well, Monica Okoye knows this court very well, having represented Japan here in the FIBA Asia Cup, also some games at the FIBA Women's World Cup at this venue last year. So she might be just starting to warm up on that three-point shooting that she's been looking to connect on, Laurie.
Gee, she was good at the Asia Cup last year, wasn't she? Monica Okoye. Nicholson, a tough finish, makes it, and then the stare down.
The stare down from the youngster, you gotta love that.
Melbourne to Sharp, keeps it alive, but only to George. Here's Bradley. Nicholson, nice work through to Richards. Some good chemistry early here for the Flames. They're looking really sharp.
Really good teamwork.
Here's Okoye again. Draws a crowd. Frees up Bunton. Melbourne, good ball movement here. Munga for the finish. Yes!
Wow, this is quality elite women's basketball right now. The way both teams are moving, finding the extra player, and the shooting percentages.
Bradley puts it on the floor against Melbourne. George versus Bunton. Clark. Works on Munga. Beautifully done from Emma Clark.
She really set that up well, going deep in the baseline, knowing that she was going to come around with a step through.
Melbourne blows by Clark for another two.
Sydney are really going to have to start sharpening up on their defensive transition. That was way too easy for Jade Melbourne.
Bradley. High scoring game early. Not even halfway through this opening term. Combined 29 points on the board. Clark from long range. Sharp to Melbourne. Jade looking dangerous early. She's gone slashing through a couple of times. She goes again. Draws a foul. Feels like she's identified early on, Laurie, that there's going to be some space for her to move into, and she's attacking at every opportunity.
Well, it's a good read because the defense isn't quite set yet, so the fact that she's able to then punch it in and they're not quite on balance is exactly what you want.
Jade Melbourne goes to the line to shoot two as we head to Megs.
Gemma Potter into the game, as Laurie mentioned, on managed minutes as she returns from her second ACL. She's wearing a full leg sleeve tonight, which is a bit of a familiar costume for the UC Caps, reminiscent of Kelsey Griffin in her days as a Cap.
Jade Melbourne gives the Caps the lead. 1 point game, just over 5 to play in the opening term. She's got 6 points, 5 each to Munga and Okoye. Richards has got 6 for the Flames. This is Panousis. Nicholson gets a little bit of space thanks to George and takes full toll.
I love that pull-up from Lauren Nicholson. We see a lot of action with Kayla George and Laws coming off of that on-ball, but just such a great pull-up.
Sharp to Bunton. Out to Okoye again.
There it is, Jason. Let's see a little bit more of that from her, and that'll keep the scoreboard ticking over.
Panousis. Nice read from Monica on this occasion. She's got Clark on the inside. Does she go there? Goes herself. Can't finish. Richards to Panousis. Now Nicholson. Screen from George. Back to Kayla. Richards. Good ball movement here. And now the drive won't go. Kira Rowe on that occasion, who's into the game. Here's Potter. Bunton. Jada Clark, who had some good moments last week, the youngster. Nice ball movement, gets Sharp open in the corner, not quite. But Laurie, that's what they're trying to orchestrate.
Well, it is, and that especially happened when there was Kayla George stepped out to show on that on ball and stayed to double. So there was going to be a player open, and the Caps did a great job of reversing the ball and finding Alex Sharp in the corner.
Our opening timeout brought to you by CTM Sport. They're here to transform your team's travel experience, leave the hassle of all the off-court arrangements to CTM Sport, the experts in sports travel management. Get the winning edge, ctmsport.com.au. Let's head inside the Sydney huddle. Here's Guy Malloy.
You guys will kill it on pick and roll, all right, in drops. So you're tagging the big really well, and we'll find you on the roll. So you guys keep working that. You'll kill it, all right?
Hey, but when I get it inside, they're like crowding, so cut, move, someone's got to be open, I'll find you if I get it in, right? Yeah.
We have to get the ball picked up. It's way too late. Get it picked up. Now, 99, the shooter, there's no ball pressure. Like, you got to run her off the three. That's all she can do, right? That's what we've scouted is going to happen. So we've got to make her put the ball to the floor. Okay. Hey, keep chipping away. There's not enough ball pressure. They can see the floor too easily. Let's go back into a snap wide again.
Laurie Chiswick, our resident interpreter.
Well, he said a lot of the things that we've been saying in our broadcast, so make sure D-Trans has got to be picked up. More ball pressure. Okoye, he recognized that she can, has shot 2 threes. They've got to get her off the three-point line. So certainly, they need to just refocus what they're doing out there right now.
Megs was with Kristen Veal in the Canberra huddle.
Refocus was also the theme from Kristen Veal in this Canberra huddle. Despite having the lead by 2 points, it was very much just reaffirming what the game plan is, sticking to it and lifting the defence in this final 3.5 minutes.
So the Flames going to challenge Monica Okoye to show other things in her game beyond the three-point shot. She already has so far tonight. Here's Rowe. To Panousis. Caps by 2, 3.5 to play in the opening term, off the foot of Okoye. And will remain a Sydney ball. So Kayla George, very much an on-court coach for Guy Malloy, obviously played in his system for many years at the Melbourne Boomers.
And she's still finding her feet. It's been a whirlwind, year for her with the World Cup bronze medalist, and then a WNBL MVP, and then the WNBA championship.
She's
and coming back, and it's
the most
just,
incredible
whoa.
18 months, hasn't she?
Absolutely. So, she's a professional. She'll just get better and better.
Nicholson gets isolation one-on-one with Sharp. Sharp does enough. It's back to Nicholson. She receives from Richards. Puts it on the floor again. Finds Rowe in the corner. George the rebound. Against Sharp, the little step back from Kayla.
I was worried that she was going to pass it out, and I saw the mismatch out there and was willing Kayla to go to the basket. Great job.
Ties things up at 19 apiece. Well done, Kayla at the other end. Got a hand in there, and there's Okoye.
I like it. I like the variety in her game right now. She's not just settling for the three. She's actually really causing havoc right now for the Flames.
Guy Malloy and the Flames coaching staff might be in for a surprise. There's more to her game than just the three-point shot. Richards. Nicholson, Panousis. Shot clock down to 4. She pulls the trigger from long range, and Vanessa Panousis nails it.
Well, she is shooting 50% so far this season, so it's a good look for her, especially at the top of the key.
Clark, there's Okoye from long range. She's got another.
So that happens in D-Trans. Yes, you have to slow down the ball, but you have to be aware of your matchups, and that was a point that Guy Malloy made in his timeout. Get her off the three-point line.
13 points on 5 of 6 shooting for Monica Okoye. As Dita Richards hits the floor. Vision there with Okoye and
she's
Kira
just
Riley as well.
Sorry, she's just so explosive. Richards on that first step and had the ability to get herself to the basket and you know, get her head up, and now we see her at the free throw line.
Dede Richards, phenomenal story. Suffered a spinal cord injury in October of 2020 playing at Baylor when she hit the floor and was temporarily paralysed in her lower body. Had to learn to walk again. And incredibly, 38 days later, was back out on court helping her team. But since then, has had a chronic run with injuries, hamstrings in particular. So this year, just wants to get some good, solid court time down under over the summer. Start to rebuild her career and her game. Offensive foul against McSpadden.
A hook around. It was the right read. There was a mismatch in there. It was a good pass from Kira Rowe. But just that little hook around there, and the referees are right on top of that.
So Lara McSpadden, another new recruit who returns. Newcastle native. Spent 4 seasons previously at the Flames between 16 and 19, and now she's back after a stint in a championship with Townsville. Munga. Riley. One shot from Munga won't drop, but they retain possession through Jada Clark. Shot clock to single digits. Clark versus Nicholson. Melbourne will take the long range shot. Won't drop. Ball in dispute. Spadden comes up with it. Off to Nicholson, a championship teammate from last season. That one's a little short, it's still there. Nicholson follows up, keeps it alive. Shot won't go from Clark. And it's a Canberra ball. It's a high-scoring opening term as we expected, Laurie. These two teams, no problems pouring in the points. The challenge for the coaching staff's at the other end of the floor.
And we talked about that for both teams, that the defense has to be a focus out there, and they have to make sure that they're sticking to the game plan, as Meg said at the timeout, that was Kristen Veal wanted to make sure they were doing.
A high-scoring shootout, not really what the Flames want, Laurie. You'd think that probably favours the Caps, who are happy to just try and pour in the points and make it a high-scoring game. Suits their style completely. Melbourne flings it. Down to 4 seconds. Tough finish, won't go. Still alive, potted on clean-up duty. Clark, nowhere to go, keeps it alive, does well to Bradley. Final minute opening term. Rowe to the corner for Nicholson.
That brought the team and the crowd to their feet. That was a good push by the Sydney Flames, and then finding Lauren Nicholson in the corner for that 3.
Melbourne takes on the D. And Jade Melbourne's eyes right now, Laurie, are lighting up at every opportunity she wants to drive.
Ooh, I'd like to see that again. I thought Lauren Nicholson was well and truly set outside the charge circle. That's one of those 50-50 calls that is really difficult to make, but you could just see Jade Melbourne and Laws giving them each a little high five there.
Opal's teammates. Jade Melbourne up to 7 points in the opening term. Okoye's been the story. She's got 13, while Nicholson's got 9 at the other end for the Flames. This to tie things up. 26 apiece, 39 seconds to play, 15-second differential between game and shot clock. Bradley brings it up the floor. McSpadden. Nicholson, who's been hot early. Why not? Why not?
It's just such great basketball by both teams. I'm just enjoying the offense. Defense, yeah, we still need a little bit of work on, but what great basketball.
Final play. Ball in the hands of Melbourne. Does she go herself? Gets a screen. Wants an option. Has got Munga. Goes with a floater. Then goes and picks up her own ball. Won't go. Off Bunton, and it is quarter time in a super entertaining game. Is there a foul?
I think there was a
There
foul
is.
as
To shoot 2. Is it waved away? It is being waved away.
Oh, I thought it was as Bunton went up for that putback that she was fouled, but I guess the clock had expired at that point.
Entertaining shootout. WNBL Wednesdays, thanks to Ford Aussie Hoops. It's the Flames 29, Caps 26.
If it's high, then there's opportunity to gap. But you've got to go to the biggest gap, right? Especially on Nicholson. Does that make sense? Right? Wherever you can be to catch back up to her quickly. Down here in offense, right? I know they're putting heat on the ball, right? Hunt, come and get into it. Don't wait for her to come down. Just come in, break it up. Once you come off, if there's nothing, we need to move the ball. We need to move the ball. Start the train rolling. It'll get momentum. We'll get shots, okay? Astro to break it up. River, if they're not pressuring us, and we can access it, right?
Hey, I can handle the pressure in the backcourt without...
It's just a privilege, honestly. Such a joy to play with someone that has so much love for the game.
Melbourne to find ourselves some space. Beautiful shot there from Alex Sharp.
It's something that I'm really grateful for every day, and you know, I don't tell her that all the time. Yeah, I really love playing with Jade.
It is quarter time at the Quaycentre in Sydney, and it is the Flames leading it by 3 points, 29-26. High-scoring, entertaining shootout. Megs, you're in the Canberra timeout.
I sure was. Operation Lauren Nicholson for Canberra. They're sending someone to her at all times, but also making sure they're aware of Kayla George and the impact she can have on this contest. Kristen Veal giving her team the green light to fly at the boards as they look to up their defensive efforts in this second quarter.
Set to go second term. Laurie, what did you make of the first?
Oh, that was exciting. That was a great first quarter of basketball. Not if you're a defensive purist, but from a shooting, from a team point of view, from ball movement, player movement, really good from both teams.
Here's Alex Sharp talking about playing with Jade Melbourne. Dishes it off there, gets it back. Now to Bunton. It's all about movement for Canberra. Kristen Veal imploring her players, just keep the train moving. And Munga does just that. And that's a great example of it, Laurie. If there's nothing initially, just go through your actions, keep it moving, something will present itself.
Well, that was great off-ball movement. She saw Alex Bunton going to work in there, but she was hovering around there in case she missed it, got that O-board and finished.
Nicholson, red hot in the opening term. 12 points on 5 of 7 shooting. Okoye's got 13 on 5 of 6. McSpadden, Rose open in the corner, which usually spells trouble.
That's nice to see Kiro get a shot up and see it drop for her. We know that she can shoot that 3 ball. If she can get going, she could have a real impact.
Okoye. Munga's been busy. Melbourne. Does she drive? This time she kicks. Oh, can't get it to go. Sharp will try to keep it alive. Can't do so. Flames ball. So perpetual motion is everything for Canberra. They've just got to keep that ball moving. If something presents early, take it. If not, just keep it moving around until something presents. McSpadden. To Nicholson. Flames spending all their time and focus on learning the rules of Guy Malloy's game plan at both ends of the floor. Highly structured coach has got to move for everything. Air ball there from Munga. Again wide open. Foul called.
It's one of those sort of questions you go, okay, she just shot one and missed it early in the offense. That was 2 passes she shot and missed it. So, you know, they're lucky that we got, you know, a rebound and Okoye gets herself to the free throw line. But that's the decision making that Kristen Veal is working with them. So is that a good shot in the context of the game, in the context of the last play? But you don't want to ever tell them, don't shoot it if you're open, because you don't want them to go gun shy.
The first 2 free throws in the WNBL. It's taken up until her 3rd game, which does speak to the fact she hasn't been getting to the rack a lot. But tonight, definitely adding some elements to her game. Bradley has some space. Off-ball whistle. Canberra get the offensive foul. There's another look. It's on McSpadden.
So some subs coming in. Kayla George, Richard.
Okoye Nigerian father, Japanese mum. Plays for the Japanese national team. Her older brother, Lewis, is a pro baseballer. Sporty family. Munga to Okoya against Clark. Again, we see her happy to play with her back to the basket. Melbourne. There was the call from Sharp. She'll get it in the end. Not exactly how they drew it up, Laurie, but they'll get the two just the same.
I had a little gasp there.
Yes, she did.
Because
she's open.
There was a miscommunication on defense, and they both went away from the shooter.
Richards, speaking of miscommunications, lovely finish from Didi. Good composure. And then shows her defensive chops as well. Can she turn that into two more? Kicks it back out. Bradley, nice step. Feed to Richards, off the foot. Waved away. Remains a Sydney ball, and the two imports linking up as the chemistry continues to build. Got a Koye off her feet. And then the heads-up play to get back on D. Laurie, every coach loves that.
Well, it's so good to see that, and the connection she had with Bradley.
Clark. Really coming out of her shell. Emma Clark takes on the D, wins the foul. It's been a great start to the season for Emma Clark.
Jade Melbourne did the right thing by coming over from the split line. She just needed to be there a little bit earlier so that she wasn't off balance and drew the foul.
Just ready to go next step, Emma Clark, you feel. Her fourth year in the system, playing game 52 tonight. Hurt her knee in the first practice of last season and missed the first 7 weeks of the season, so it was coming off very little base. Averaged 5 points a game last season. But already this year, she's up to 10 points a game, Laurie. And you just sort of feel she's one of those players now who's been around for a little while. She's got the confidence, the belief, and now the tools to have an impact.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Almost 10 points, 4-something rebounds a game. So she's having an impact, and she'll only get better once she gets, again, we talk about everybody getting used to Guy Malloy's structures out there.
Melbourne to Okoya, not this time. George off to Richards. Bradley to George, and now here is Clark. Will she take on Sharp? Twists, turns, shoots and scores.
Wow, did she look calm and collected when she shot that? Just happy to back up down Alex Sharp and then turn and shoot over her.
Here's Melbourne cutting through again. And there's Sharp, the dynamic duo of Jade Melbourne and Alex Sharp.
Oh, you gotta love, you know, Alex Sharp's one of my favorite players. I know you're not supposed to have favorites, but she just does all the hard work. She's got her game face on. Defensively, she'll come up with some big things, offensive rebounds. And offensively, what a great move for her to come to Canberra, where she's got to be a leader now. She's been in the competition a while. She's still only 26, but she's been around, and so she would be relishing this leadership role at the Capitals.
More from Alex Sharp at halftime in our feature tonight on ESPN's WNBL Wednesdays. Alex Sharp now 12 for 14 from the stripe this season. Shot clock down to single digits. The Flames by 3, and he can double it. Bradley drains a long-range bomb.
This is where the Capitals really have to lock in defensively and make sure they come up with some good shot opportunities.
Koye to Bunton. It's knocked away by George, and Richards loses the handle. Frustration there for Didi. Paige Bradley.
Well, she certainly had a lot of time and space to shoot that. She almost second guessed, should I shoot it or shouldn't I?
Renee Garlop telling us this week that she's a really adequate facilitator, Paige Bradley, but she can score, and we're seeing that tonight. Leave her open at your peril. Potter. Shot clock to 3. Okoye, can she put the move on? She can. Can she finish? Not quite. And away comes Richards. A chance for some speed on the ball here for Sydney. There hasn't been much of it in the game so far. Only 2 fast break points apiece so far in this game. Richards, Bradley, back to Didi, now to George. Does she go baseline to Clark? She does. Pretty to watch.
That's what we say. Right now, Kayla's quite happy to you know, facilitate, and it's great. I mean, she leads her team in assists right now at 4.3 averaging.
Just 2 points for Kayla herself. Bunton, there's George again. Good active hands. Bradley This margin out to 8 points now. Some important minutes here for the Canberra. Straight into Bunton. No whistle. Away comes Melbourne. Will she take Kayla on? Of course she will. And 2 really important points for the Caps as they try to hang in. Flames looking to make a move midway through this second term. Bradley looking for some space. Richards gathers in the loose one. Clark to George. She go against Bunton herself. Down to 5, throws it away. Important couple of defensive sets there for Canberra. A couple of important stops. There's Beck Pizzi. Out at the moment with a knee injury. She's rehabbing that. Expected back maybe in January. We'll take a break. It's Sydney 42, Canberra 36. 4:22 to play in this second term at the Quaycentre on ESPN's WNBL Wednesday. Sydney up by 6. Let's take it inside the Caps. Timeout. Here's Kristen Veal.
Off the ball is personnel based, right? So when we're coming together, we should know we're going to switch that. Switch inside. We should know that we don't need to help them McSpadden. Yeah? We should know that Bunter's got Kayla. There's going to be a little less help on the drops, right? We can't get caught on switches, right? We know that's Paige Bradley. If we don't switch out, she's going to shoot over our hands. Yes? It's all about personnel. You've felt them enough now, you should know them. All right? Talk to each other out there. Down here, we got to move the ball. We have to move the ball. Find whatever offense. So even on this 4 here, right? 4-3, whoever it is, sends it to the 5 here. Go this way to get some movement. All right? Go this way to get some. Kick it to here. Cut. Go into a long pick. All right, here we go.
Flames up by 6. Laurie Chiswick. Again, Kristen Veal imploring movement on offense. And on D, she's imploring her players. They should know their opposition by now.
Well, once you've had a quarter to get used to what a player does, it is. Sometimes you have to just adjust on the fly. And so she was telling them, you know, they can't overhelp. They have to know who to get right up on, who they can step off on, who will shoot if they go under. And they've got to know that. At this level, you almost have to be coaching and making adjustments on the fly.
4:20 left in the first half. Melbourne to Potter. It's short and out as we head to Meggs, who is in the Sydney timeout.
Almost a bit of decompression from Guy Malloy. They feel like they're finally getting some reward for their defensive efforts late in this second quarter. Kayla George very much the floor general, and the message was to keep going through their newly minted WNBA champ.
Wide open is Melbourne and drains it.
I think she knew that was going to go in. As soon as it left her hand, she was backpedaling already.
Back to 3 points. Gee, it's been a good fight back here from Canberra. Things just started to sneak out a touch, and they've reeled them back in. Bradley, Richards, Nicholson. Won't go. Plenty of space on the outside, though, for the Flames shooters. They can't get it to drop on this occasion. And Melbourne, will she take them on again? Draws the crowd, kicks it out to Munga. Great response here from Canberra. They've tied things up again.
See, I count that as a fast break basket because that was complete penetration. Jade Melbourne drew the defenders, was able to find her open teammate in Munger, who had her feet set, and it was a nice, easy shot.
Clark, George, Bradley. Back to Kayla. Pops it over the top to Richards. Another nice feed from Kayla George. DD Richards. Up to 13 points. And well done, Nicholson at the other end. The steal. The feed. Richards found from behind.
Really good job. First of all, by Lauren Nicholson. She looked like she was going to shoot it, got the defense off balance. You can see here, the eyes are up on the target, then just dumps it into Richards, who went up strongly and won. And don't they like it?
Foul on Shakira Riley. So Richards up to 13 points. Nicholson's got 12. While Okoye has 14 and Melbourne 13 for the Caps. This timeout brought to you by Cygnett, Australia's #1 digital accessories brand. Cygnett continues to power the WNBL. Australian owned and designed. Cygnett products available at JB Hi-Fi, Officeworks and other leading retailers. Visit cygnett.com. Here's Guy.
Letting the ball penetrate and everyone gets fixated on the ball and they've got easy kick-out threes. That's not it. Push it, get it here, pin it sideline, then the captain can come right across. You got it? So there's no middle. If we're blacking, then the captain is moving towards the tagger. They haven't hit the roller once yet, all right? So then bump it out and aggressively rotate. And we still need to do better on the defensive rebound. Okay, next play. We go snap, snap, shakes, snap, shakes. Dig in here, dig in, come on.
Laurie, every coach has got their own vernacular, their own terminology. Can you interpret what Guy's explaining to his team then?
Well, the captain, I'm not sure I've heard that terminology before, but there was no doubt that he was talking about that defensive transition. That last play we saw where Jade Melbourne easily got her feet in the paint. He's saying you've got to force them to the sideline so that they know, keep it out of the middle, try and avoid the kick-ahead pass, but you've got to match up earlier. And they aren't looking at the rollers, so, you know, make sure we're getting out to those three-point shooters. That's the message right now.
Great to see Tiana Mangakar here, an assistant coach on the Sydney bench this season alongside Renee Garlop, learning under the great Guy Malloy. So the margin sits at 5. We're inside 3 minutes in the opening half. Ball in the hands of Jade Melbourne. There's some movement. Great work from Richards. Good defensive play. Bradley the beneficiary. She's looked dangerous from range tonight. This time she feeds George, who puts it on the floor, and the hook called again. The offensive foul. Here's that play from Richards. So long and athletic, Laurie.
She really affects people's shots, and you know, that's why she was a defensive player of the year, and she's just known for her defense, but I like what she can do offensively as well.
Yeah, won an NCAA championship at Baylor and was the Naismith Defensive Player of the Year in 2020. Here's Melbourne again into that lane. She sees an opportunity, you don't have to ask twice, and she draws a foul and will shoot 2.
And she's so controlled when she goes up on those shots, when it opens up. She's not, you know, panicked or see what the defense in front. She's just really controlled, and again, eyes up nice and early, focusing on her target. Defense comes over and you know, she finds herself at the line.
George was just drawn to the outside shooter on the periphery, and it opened up a lane for Melbourne, who misses the first. 77% free throw shooter across her 52-game career. Another one of these young veterans, just 21 years of age. Feels like she's been around forever. This is her 5th season in the league. What a future she has.
I like that saying, young veteran. That's good.
Oh, well, if you talk enough, occasionally you say something decent. Long ball. Sharp. Comes away. Okoye. Marching back to 4. Monica red hot in the opening term. Not this time. Ball bobbles around off the hands of Gemma Potter. So Monica Okoye was just white hot in the opening term. Hasn't had the same impact in this second term. The Flames adding 18 for the quarter, the Caps 17. So there's been nothing in it. 3-point game at the first change. It's out to 4 at the moment. Inside 2 minutes to play in the opening half. Panousis. Screen from McFadden on Melbourne. Panousis the kick out to Nicholson. Big board there for Sharp.
That's her 6th rebound for Alex Sharp.
Melbourne versus Panousis. Bunton cuts. Beautifully played.
Really good 2-man game, pick and roll with Jade Melbourne and Alex Bunton. Jade Melbourne just took her time, made sure Bunton had good position before she passed it. And here we see the same at the other end.
And it's McSpadden with the finish. Melbourne again looks for the speed, for the quick opportunity. Potter that couldn't put it in. The idea was right, and Gemma just frustrated there. Throws her arms around.
Great court vision by Jade Melbourne, just almost like a no-look pass into her cutting teammate.
Couldn't finish. 0 for 4 so far tonight, Gemma. Hence the frustration. Panousis wide open. Works it with Nicholson. Back to Lauren. Steps back. Long two. It's short. Down to 40 seconds. So this the exception to throwing it around quickly. A chew a bit of time. Gets it to Bunton. Can't finish. 4-second differential between shot and game clock. They'll take the quick one, will they? Panousis. Now they settle. Clark. Nicholson. Chew through some time here. Leave Canberra with very little. But Nicholson's open. Got to take that.
Got to take that. When you're that wide open and you're a three-point shooter like Lauren Nicholson, you have to take that.
Time for a Hail Mary here. Melbourne. We've seen her do it before last season from similar range, and she almost did it again. Entertaining first half of basketball. The Sydney Flames holding a 7-point lead. It's Sydney 52, Canberra 45. And a high-scoring shootout at the Quaycentre in Sydney. 15 points for Nicholson, 14 for Richards, 14 each for Melbourne and Okoya. As we head down to Megs.
Dee Richards, welcome to the WNBL. Sydney getting their stuff together to lead Canberra at the first half. You'd be happy with that team performance?
Absolutely, thank you. It's fun here, I love it.
Tell us about the growing chemistry with someone like Kayla George. You haven't been on court together very long. How have you built on it to get it looking like this?
I mean, it's still a lot more to go, and I know that the potential is like skyrocketing for us, so it's cool to see it develop day by day. She's only been here for, like you said, 2.5 weeks maybe, so it's cool to see it blossom a little bit more today.
And how are you adjusting to the league? 3-4 games in now, how are you finding it?
It's fun. I mean, I would love a better calls, ref, but other than that, it's really fun. It's exciting. The pace is high. The competition is every single game. There's no games off, so it's kind of fun out here.
We're loving the game and the style you bring, Dee. We'll let you get into the rooms. Thanks for joining us. Good luck.
Nice meeting you.
Thanks. Nice to meet
Richards,
you too.
exciting two-way player. Thanks to Megs. It is 7 points at the major half. Sydney 52, Caps 45. The Flames leading it by 7 points. Coming up, our WNBL Wednesday halftime show. Thanks to Ford Aussie Hoops. And as we head to the break, here's our top 5 plays from round 2.
Nicholson goes for 3 this time, and Lauren Nicholson's feeling it today. Richards. There's another superb move. Now we're starting to get a bit of energy.
Pass into Ruth.
And then instead lands to Kunek, who hits the 3 and will go to the line for an extra after being fouled.
Russell, they'll run it all the way down. She lost the handle. Has she got time to turn, spin and score? It counts.
Atwell steals, and then he's denied by Izzy B.
Melbourne, have all been good.
I would say Nicholson, I think.
Nicholson for Laurie, mate. Is that okay? Yep. 15 points.
I had actually been chatting to Billy a couple of previous seasons and it just hadn't really aligned at the right time. This year I was ready to get a fresh start and I guess try something new and push my game in a different direction. I could tell that she had a really great vision and she knew a lot about my game and knew how I could contribute to the team, and I think that's what really drew me to Canberra. Like Billy said, it's a really good step in the right direction where we want to go and build on. So when I was at the COE actually, she was just starting to coach. So it's a bit of a full circle moment, getting back to Canberra, now she's head coach. You tell, even playing them last year and the previous years, that they have a really great team culture.
Melbourne to find herself some space, beat it out, and that's a beautiful shot there from Alex Sharp.
It's just a privilege, honestly. Such a joy to play with someone that has so much love for the game, but also such a high level of IQ that you can really learn from her, feed off her passion, off her drive. It's something that I'm really grateful for every day, and you know, I don't tell her that all the time. Yeah, I really love playing with Jade.
Picked off by Sharp, who's been everywhere on offense and defense for the Caps.
Alex Sharp, she's a hard worker and she certainly does the little things that go unstatted.
I'm the type of person that puts a lot of expectations on myself. I've enjoyed stepping into a bit of a leadership role with this team, challenging myself in that way, and I've still got a ways to go. Being able to bring what I always bring to the court, I think is just a given.
Nice find, nice finish, Alex Sharp.
And I think this year, stepping up my game and being more of a threat as well, something that I'm looking to do.
Alex Sharp getting a really well-rounded basketball education, Laurie. Originally from Victoria, played her juniors in the Diamond Valley. She's into her 4th WNBL season, but she was a COE graduate at the Centre of Excellence in Canberra, college career at Wake Forest, a few years over with Ryan Petrick at the Perth Lynx. Now she's gone to Canberra to link up again with Kristen Veal, and she's already got a dynamic partnership with Jade Melbourne.
I coached her. I went to the Under-17 World Championships with Alex Sharp when she was a youngster, and so I've watched her career and progressed. And like I say, she's such a level-headed person. She's very mature. I like what she says about coming to Canberra and her reasons and that. And there's just so much upside about her.
7-point game at half-time. The Flames lead at 52-45. What have you made of the first half?
Well, pretty high quality. Again, you know, I thought the defense tightened up a little bit better for the Flames in that second quarter, but just some excellent shooting from both teams. Sydney shooting the 3-ball at 50% and Canberra at 35%, and different people scoring. You know, we saw Okaya in that first quarter really dominate, but then Jade Melbourne really stepped up, as well as Munger in that second quarter. So I like what both teams are doing. They're getting it through hands. They're really good court vision to find the extra player, make the extra pass to find the extra player. And it's real good team basketball from both of them.
And from a Caps perspective, you can see some of the pieces already of the puzzle starting to go together. And Jade Melbourne and Alex Sharp have got complementary skill sets. You throw Bunton in there as a tall. Okoye can do multiple things as well. Then you can start to see the pieces of the puzzle. The one big difference in the game, Laurie, second chance points, 15 to Canberra, 4 to Sydney. Does that surprise you?
Well, it did when we pointed that out at half-time. I was a bit surprised because, as you can see, the rebounding count is pretty similar. Capitals have 10 offensive rebounds, which is something I'm sure Guy Malloy will be talking about at halftime. But the other thing that really stands out to me is both teams have kept the ball, have taken care of the ball, their possession game relatively well, 6 and 5 turnovers respectively.
Lauren Nicholson, 15 points on 6 of 12 shooting, including 3 of 5 from long range. What have you made of her first half?
She is such a hard worker. You know, teams really key in on her because she is that sort of player that you need to, but she is constantly moving. She is constantly working to get herself open, to find ways and means of shooting like she did there. She comes off screens hard. She makes some great passes. But it's her work ethic that I like out there, and the way she's working to get herself open and to get her teammates open.
And just as we spoke about the pieces coming together for Canberra, you can see them for Sydney as well, with Kayla George facilitating tonight, feeding the likes of Nicholson and Richards. Paige Bradley's shown she's capable of hitting the scoreboard as well. You can start to see their game plan coming together.
Absolutely, and Guy Malloy talked about it being going to take time. But I'm really impressed in tonight's game, and I'm sure they would have ticked some boxes as far as, you know, understanding some systems. Defensively, there's still some ways to go, but certainly offensive. And we talk about Kayla George and all of this, only has 2 points.
Yeah, and still had an impact in the game, though. She's been a facilitator. She's done a lot of defensive work, set some screens. It's been an entertaining first half. Can one team find a defensive solution in the second half? We kind of hope not, really. We'd like to see the points piling in, but I'm sure the coaches disagree. It is half-time at Sydney 52, Canberra 45. Back with the third quarter action next.
Hey guys, I'm Jade.
And I'm Alex.
We're here with Edward and Layla today as part of the Forward Aussie Hoops program. We're going to play some games and have some fun.
One coin.
What do you reckon?
Oh! The win's not happy. He wants to win.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right, well, wait. Yeah. Make him get excited. Yeah.
I heard that.
Oh, she's all over it. Oh, she saw it.
You said right.
Yeah! Good game, guys. Good game.
Good job,
Good
Layla.
job.
Our thanks to Forward Aussie Hoops, fantastic supporters of WNBL Wednesdays on ESPN. Great to have them on board. If you've got youngsters aged 5 to 10 who are interested in basketball, log on and register. They'll be glad you did at aussiehoops.basketball. 7-point game at the Quaycentre. Sydney lead at 52-45, and Megan Huswaite's been in both camps at half-time.
I was lucky to be in the Canberra rooms at halftime, and communication was the focus. Firstly from Coach Kristen Veal, who, as a second-year coach, really interesting to see how she tempered her communication to the group. And sometimes she was a bit firmer, and then she sort of was a bit softer in her messaging at others. Communication, the theme for Canberra. Really around the relationship between the screener and the ball handler in the second half. She said that's an everyone thing. She wants buy-in from all players in that in the second half. And then just had a quick chat with Renee Garlop, Sydney assistant coach, coming out of halftime. A stat that was mentioned for Sydney during the break was that they've given up 15 second chance points and 10 boards, and they want to clean that up as they look to increase their lead in this second half here at the Quaycentre.
Thanks, Megs. Yeah, those second chance points, as we mentioned, 15-4. The one big standout on the stat sheet, really. Hasn't been a lot between them, but it's been an interesting one, certainly from a Sydney perspective. They'll be looking to clean that up. 15 second chance points to 4 in favour of the Caps.
I'll be really looking forward to seeing who comes out really sharp this third quarter. In both their losses, their previous losses in round 2, they both had three-quarter slumps. So they only scored 13, 14 points, and the other teams, Melbourne and Southside, both really took steps ahead. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm sure that's a focus, and you go in at halftime, coaches bring you together, they talk about what you want to do. Now you have to come out and execute it. You've got to stick to that plan and really go ahead in that third quarter.
The Flames led by as much as 8 points early. The Caps, to their credit, hauled them back in before Sydney steadied and back out to a 7-point lead as we get set for second half action at the Quaycentre. ESPN's WNBL Wednesday. Great to have you with us each and every Wednesday night. Thanks to Ford Aussie Hoops. Already a fantastic season. We're only kicking off round 3 tonight. We've already had some great games of basketball. Lots to enjoy, and these teams are only going to get better. That's the exciting part. Week to week, we're seeing improvement as teams lock in their combinations, bed down their game plans. There's been so much player movement, Laurie. We said at the start of the season, only 35 of 82 players that were on lists last year are at the same team this year, so it takes time.
It does, and I think, you know, a lot of coaches concentrate on offense first, so maybe that's what we're seeing, the higher scoring games, and the defense, once that's in place, then we'll start seeing some more high elite energy defense.
Lydia Richards has been busy at both ends of the floor tonight. 14 points for her, 6 rebounds. The Flames start the second half with possession. Bradley to George, a breakdown, and Richards is there.
Again, another good find by Kayla George and her teammate, Richards.
Melbourne with 16 points in the first half. Richards with 16 now for the Flames. Sharp. Okoye, can she get hot again like she did in the first? It rattles around, and George off to Bradley, who's provided plenty of energy. Paige Bradley goes herself. Well done, Okoye. Got a hand in. Here's Melbourne. Wants to run it straight back at George. Richards gets across. Munga. Okoye. Melbourne. Back to Monica. Long range 3 off the front of the iron. And that suits Bradley just fine.
Both of those were just a little bit short.
Nicholson to Clark to George. Now Richards looks to penetrate. Can't do so. Good defence from Sharp. But that leaves George open in the corner. Well done, Alex Sharp. Tidies it up. Melbourne, can she find Bunton? She can.
Gosh, she was open for a long time in there. That little pick and roll there. Sydney didn't make the adjustment whether they're going to do a 3-way switch, but wow, was she open.
Bunton up to 4 points. Is she an option to get engaged more in this second half? Offensive foul, Canberra ball. A look away from Melbourne.
It's really important that Capitals stay in touch with Sydney because we know that they can pile on the points really easily.
Melbourne, Munga, cut towards the hoop. Now she goes to the corner. Sharp is looking for Bunton, just too much on it. Bit of a breakdown. Alex just apologises. Well, two Alexes apologise to each other. Margin sits at 7 as it did at halftime. For all the effort, just 2 points apiece in the opening 2 minutes of this second half. It's been up and down the floor. Just hasn't been dropping. George again goes towards Richards. Can't control it this time.
I like that movement, though. Ball into Kayla George at the high post area. Richards went to set a screen, but slipped it, went straight to the basket, and Kayla almost executed that pass.
Foul there on D.D. Richards, who clatters into Alex Sharp.
It's been nice that the referees have let a few things go and let them play, so nobody's in foul trouble, which if they are, then that changes rotations. We saw the last game, Kayla George having to sit out for a good period of time. But right now, everybody's well and truly able to play. And there is a nice three-point shot from the corner from Munger.
She knew it was good from the moment it left her hand. Margin back to 7 again. Bradley against Melbourne. Jade pressures her into error. Margin now back to 4, in fact, after that three-point shot from Munger. And we've seen Melbourne drive with such success, Laurie, that she is going to attract the defence. And that leaves an open shot. She found Munger and Nicole didn't let her down. Koya. Bunton. Melbourne. Sharp shows. Back to Melbourne. Takes the three herself.
Wow.
Had plenty of height.
What patience by Canberra, looking at all the options on the screen and roll, the lifting back to Melbourne. Nice basket.
In the blink of an eye, it's a one-point game. Does Kayla take on Alex Bunton here? Of course she does. Bread and butter for Kayla.
Well, maybe Kayla's going to go, I think I need to get involved in the offense a little bit more. I've been a facilitator, now I need to be a scorer as well.
Koya wants to work on Nicholson. George comes across, gets a hand in, and then wins the ball herself. Off to Nicholson. Richards wants George to cut to the hoop. Goes to Rowe. And then the big clap in the face of Munger for the call off the ball.
Really good recognition, team recognition by Kayla to get herself inside. She knew she had that mismatch, and a great job for her teammate to find her. And really, Munger had nothing left to do but foul her or probably get scored on.
And frustration there from Kayla George. As Nicole Munger takes a seat. Panousis to George. Now Nicholson. Back to Panousis. Richards looks to get open. Vanessa goes herself.
Vanessa Panousis has had a real impact coming in off the bench.
2 for 2 from long range. She's got 6 points.
And that's what you want. When you have a shooter coming in off the bench, they have to be ready.
Sharp look to put the step on Richards. Waved away. Malloy barks the instructions from the sideline. Two-time Coach of the Year, championship coach with the Boomers in 2021-22. Great to have him back in the league. Richards to George, back to DD, back to Kayla. Offensive foul, and the Canberra bench rises 1.
So, of course, isn't that the case when I mentioned how the refs are letting things go and there hasn't been that many calls, where all of a sudden now it feels like they're tightening up and it's up to the players to make those adjustments. It's been quite a few offensive fouls being called.
Margin sits at 6 to approach the midway point of this third term. Wednesday night, WNBL on ESPN. Tough finish for Melbourne. It's good D there from Rowe, who now receives from George. Panousis. It's her spot. She'll go for it again. It's short.
Just can't afford to go under a screen with Vanessa Panousis. She's going to shoot that.
Knocked away from a frustrated Jada Clark. Sydney ball. Panousis brings it down against Melbourne. Nicholson links with Panousis and receives it back. Clark with a defensive job on Nicholson, tries to shake her. Bit of space for George. Front iron. Caps continue to hang in, 6-point game. And they make it a one-possession game here. Clark almost lost it. Pressure came from George. Runs into trouble. Potter. Get it to drop. None for 5 now for Gemma tonight. Nicholson gets to the rack.
Nicholson has such a variety in her game. We see there she got all the way to the rack. We know she can come off a pick and roll and pull up. She can do a step back 3. She's great at catch and shooting. She is so hard to defend, and she's constantly in motion.
Margin out to an equal game high of 8 points. Okoye. Shot clock to 4. Monica drives. Another offensive foul. Dee Richards.
That was really obvious right in front of the referees. You can just see how she extends her arm out, trying to get rid of the defense. Richards liked that one.
Critical 4 minutes now for the Caps. Flames have extended that lead back out to 8. Caps have repeatedly been able to reel them back in. Got to do it again here. Panousis against Potter. McSpadden back to Panousis. Nicholson in the corner. Won't go. Important board here from Sharp. Gee, the skill set of Sharp and Melbourne just so complementary. Alex so strong on the glass.
And the thing about Alex Sharp is that she works, she's a blue-collar worker, so she goes in and she goes after the O board, she goes after the defensive boards. She's active with her hands trying to get deflections. You know, those things aren't necessarily all on the stat sheet.
Rounds nicely with Jade Melbourne's skill set. Between the two of them, you've got a complete player. And they just link together beautifully. Clark. Shot clock to 5. Potter, does she put it up? She goes to Bunton's got to shoot. Just gets it away in time. It was a rush shot. Clark fights against Nicholson, who comes up with it. Potter works her to the corner. Tries to Corella. Richards. Back out to Panousis, and they can set up here. Richards to Nicholson.
I just have to say, on that last play phase where it was almost a shot clock violation, you have to give full credit to Kira Rowe. She was battling Alex Bunton out there with everything she had, trying to push her out of the block, trying to get around. Did a great job and was seriously mismatched.
Great moment for number 13 right there. Jade Kirasami makes her WNBL debut. Congratulations to her. Nicholson, not quite. Richards, Rowe, back out to Panousis. Flames in control right now. Feels like they've got the game on their terms. Richards, deep 2, is good. And it's a double-figure margin. Here is Jade Kirasami with her first touch in the WNBL. Great moment for the 23-year-old. Spent the last 4 years at St Mary's, playing college ball in the States, originally Queensland native. Munga, Kirasami against Nicholson. Bang! Sharp from the top of the arc, and they needed that.
Well, we have to mention that Kirasami is in the lineup largely on the fact that Fowler she's in today's lineup because we haven't mentioned, but Fowler is out with COVID, and so they actually just needed another replacement, another body.
Foul on McSpadden as we head to Megs.
Well, it's only round 3, but there's a great crowd in here tonight at the Quaycentre, and they've found one in Dee Richards. The fans are certainly loving her work, and I can't remember the Sydney fans getting so excited about international talent on their side since the days of Aisha Taylor, who led them to their last championship.
Thanks, Meg. She's an exciting prospect, isn't she? Two-way player, Dee Richards, gets up and down the floor. Such a great crop of imports we've got this year, Laurie, really enhancing the league as Lara McSpadden steps up and drains the extra.
The thing about these great imports is they're making the players around them better, and so it's really exciting to see. Looks like they're enjoying their basketball, looks like they're enjoying their time here in Australia, but I love the fact that they're making everybody look better.
Bunton, Sharp, draws a foul. Maybe it's time to bring in an Import of the Year award, Laurie, to go alongside all our other WNBL awards at the end of the year. It'll be a hotly fought contest this season. There's some fantastic players right across the league. Jordan Canada has flown out of the blocks for the Boomers.
Well, we do have a new award this year, a fan-based MVP player, which will be exciting.
Alex Sharp to the line. 8 points for her tonight on 3 of 4 shooting. She's now 2 of 2 from the stripe. 13 of 15 for the season from the free throw line for Alex Sharp. The new WNBL app, it's available now wherever you get your apps. It's free, it's got all the goodness you could hope for. Stats, highlights, all the information in one place. Fantastic to have a WNBL app. Download it to your mobile device now. Nicholson, Panousis, McSpadden getting involved. Had it stripped from Melbourne, who stepped out of bounds in the process. So 1:40 to play in the third. Margin sits at 8.
Canberra just hanging around. They certainly haven't let this blow out whatsoever, and they're only losing this quarter by 1 point, and it's really important this last minute 40 that they keep that margin under 10.
And their ability to knock down the three means they can chew through a margin pretty quickly, as we've seen a couple of times tonight. It's gone from 8 to 2 in a heartbeat. Nicholson, here's Richards for long range. Let's have a look. Not quite. Kirasami to Sharp. She go herself against Richards, works off, spins, tries to create some space, feeds. Kirasami against Panousis. Well done, Vanessa. Good defence. Important role to play off the bench, Vanessa Panousis, and she's playing it well. Out to Nicholson. Richards and Nicholson combine again. Panousis gets a screen from McSpadden. Will she feed it through? Foul called. 5 seconds on the shot clock.
She really got bailed out there because she didn't have a lot of space to I think she was looking for the pass, went up for the shot. But it's always great to, you always tell your players, find a way and mean, if the clock's ticking down, to get a shot up. Because as we saw just in that instant there, a little bump and she finds herself at the foul line.
So Vanessa Panousis, 6 points tonight. An elite free throw shooter. 15 of 18 in her career coming in. Brains both there.
Well, Sydney as a team so far after 2 games shoot free throws at 85%. So that is a good stat for Sydney, second in the competition.
So important in a close game, isn't it? How often it's the difference between a win and a loss. Munga, 5 to shoot. Drives on Clark. Assist came from Rowe. The putback was good from Alex Sharp. 4-second differential between shot and game clock. Panousis. It's short, I'll get it back. Nicholson. They give up the ball. They could have actually had the last shot of the quarter.
Because it would have been a reset, the shot clock.
Now Sharp can go herself, and she can drive all the way to the rack, but she can't finish. And Sydney dodge a bullet late. And at three-quarter time, they've extended their 7-point margin at the half to 8 as we turn for home on ESPN's WNBL Wednesday. Thanks to Ford Aussie Hoops. It's Sydney 68, Caps 60.
So Loz, when you're coming off here, yep, here. All right. If it's not open to there, huh? Everyone got it? Yeah. Okay, if you don't get it, just come back out here, rub, or go to the 5 and 2-man game. Okay, now defensively on the whites, up and under with the switching, and then don't let them turn the corner and get to the middle. Right, we need good ball pressure so nobody can see the floor. We did well. They got a couple of lucky breaks, like Sharp got a fumble 3, they got an air ball rebound, 2 shots. We got to keep working hard. Now, we only won that quarter by a point.
Three-quarter time. ESPN WNBL Wednesday coming to you from the Quaycentre in Sydney, and it's an 8-point game. Sydney by 3 at quarter time, 7 at the half, 8 points at the final change, 68-60. Didi Richards with 18 points, Lauren Nicholson has 17. Well, Jade Melbourne leads the game with 19 for the Caps. Monica Okoye has 14 as well. As we head to Megs.
What a feather in the cap of the WNBL and the UC Capitals to have WNBA assistant coach and, of course, 2-time WNBL championship coach Paul Goris, an assistant for the Capitals this season. He was working with Monica Okoye at that 3-quarter time break. Her English isn't fluent as yet, but he was fantastic, just saying to her that she really needs to go at McSpadden in this last quarter. A few learnings from that third term to be a bit more physical, but also giving her license to score as she did in that first half. She's on 14 points, but she didn't score in that third term. She'll be important for the Cats in this last quarter.
Thanks, Meg. She's known for being a big 3-dagger player late in games at key moments. She's made some huge baskets for Japan over the years. Here she is now. And right on cue.
On cue is right. Good call by Megs there in that little spiel you just did, and that's exactly what they need her to do.
Margin back to 5. Critical first basket for Canberra. Hung around all night. Bodies hit the floor off the ball. Sharp went down. Richards takes on Munga. Shot waved away. Other thing about Monica Okoye that they really like is the fact that she can defend through positions 1 to 5. So when you do get those breakdowns, Laurie, she's capable of just picking up a matchup on anyone at any time.
She is so strong. She may be undersized, but we saw that last week against Southside. She used her strength. She got her center of gravity nice and low and was able to hold out some of those tall players.
She's got the job on McSpadden at the moment. In the corner, off to Nicholson. Wants to get past Okoye, steps back, tough shot, is fouled in the process. Another foul late in the shot clock, that time with 1.8 seconds left.
Smart play by Lauren Nicholson. She just is able to create for herself when nothing else is there. So she put the ball strongly for one dribble, then just stepped back to create that space to get that shot off, but was fouled.
18 points now for Lauren Nicholson. Had that foot injury in January of this year, which impacted the back end of her season, but great to see her moving freely again. Such a hard worker. Elite player in this league. Margin back out to 7. Sharp to Munga. Melbourne hits the floor after contact with McSpadden. Here's a look at the top of your screen. Let's head courtside to Megs.
Well, Jade Melbourne is just in front of me at the moment after going down there. She's just inbounding after copying a bit of Lara McSpadden there, but Jade did just pull up a bit gingerish a few minutes ago, so of course nothing's going to stop her, but it will be interesting. No, nothing's going to stop her.
Thanks, Megs. She's one tough cookie, Jade Melbourne. Just plays the game in the right spirit. Just full throttle at everything. And generally with a smile on her face, the smiling assassin. Richards, Clark for a long range. It's a 5-point game. The Caps hanging around. Sharp to Melbourne, wants to take on McSpadden and draws a foul.
Great job of reading what the defense is giving her and not giving her coming off of this pick and roll there. There was a switch, and she knew she had the foot speed on McSpadden, so just made a split-second decision and went hard to the basket.
Reach in there from Dee Richards. Sends Melbourne to the line. One possession game.
Let's go, Sandy, let's go.
Bradley to McSpadden. Nicholson tries to get into position, does, just a slight fumble, so she kicks to Clark, to Bradley. Front iron, and Nicholson tracks it down. Leaning on Munga. Now the switch. Bradley versus Melbourne. McSpadden cuts to the hoop.
Really nice pass high in the air. McSpadden caught it, didn't have to bring it down at all, and just finished strongly. Nice touch.
And Melbourne looking for an early opportunity. Nothing there, so kicks it out. Potter to Okoye. She loses her footing, has to give it up and does it well. Sharp could make something of this, not quite. Tries to put it back. And McSpadden hauls it in. Flames have had the answers tonight. Every time the Capitals have closed, Sydney have managed to open up that lead once again. They've showed great composure. Nicholson, Richards to the stripe. Nothing dropping right now. Melbourne wants to cross over McSpadden. Okoye calls for it at the top of the three.
That's her spot. She loves that as a trailing three.
Just a little double clap. Melbourne found her. She couldn't find the bottom of the hoop, but Bradley can. Once again, the Flames have the answers. They lead by 7.
Capitals 67. Sydney Flames 74.
Sydney 74, Caps 67. 7 minutes to play on ESPN's WNBL Wednesday. Let's take you inside the Canberra huddle. Here's Kristen Veal.
Okay. Right, keep guarding it how we've been guarding it. When they slow down and it comes into a pick and roll with McSpadden, is she still in? Kayla's in? Okay. All right, we come into it. Yep, we're gonna switch it. Yep, so we come into McSpadden, onto Page, right, late, switch it aggressively, we're gonna X out from the backside. Right, if there is a backside. So, Mon, you've got to switch now. Yeah, pick and roll, come up here, switch. Right, if Jade gets rolled down, yep, the X will come from here or the X will come from here. Okay, here we go. Make sure we got the nail there.
ESPN's WNBL Wednesday, Kristen Veal chatting with her troops. They trail by 7 points with 7 minutes to play.
Well, I think her real focus there was the pick and roll and how they're just, because that's hurting them right now with McSpadden. So she's talked about if it's McSpadden or if it's Kayla George, but they're looking at what they's called a three-way switch. So they're switching aggressively and a player comes across and takes the roller. So we'll see if they can get that done, because right now McSpadden's doing a great job of presenting inside on the roll.
Meanwhile, Megs was with the Flames.
And Laurie, it will be Kayla George. She was waiting for a sub just before that timeout. She's into the game now. Guy Malloy spoke to his players about how the pick and roll action's working for them and was high in praise for Dee Richards.
Dee Richards, 19 points. Nicholson's got, 18 points for Richards, 19 for Nicholson, 23 for Jade Melbourne. Make it 26. Wow. And once again, they draw back to within 4 points.
Great basket by Jade Melbourne. Just saw that Kayla George, just gave her a little bit of space. Had the confidence to shoot that.
Here is Francis. Nicholson. She rolls in the two.
Great combination between George and Nicholson. We've seen that all game, all season so far.
Melbourne puts it on the floor, out to Munga. Spins on Nicholson, who sticks to the task. Still there. Sharp. Does she work on Bradley? Yes, sir. Off the glass.
Nicholson did such a great job of staying connected with her player, and then a nice little bank shot by Munger.
George, the catch and release. Inside 6 minutes. Munga puts it on the floor, loses it. Clark. Now Nicholson. Bradley. He's got Rowe in the corner. Good hands, Melbourne knocks it away. It'll remain a Flames ball. 10 seconds left on the shot clock.
And Kristen Veal would be really happy with the ball pressure that Melbourne was putting on there. Otherwise, it was going to be an easy pass into Kayla George, who had good position.
They've been conceding 93 points a game through their first two. They've conceded just 76 so far with 5.5 to play. A better defensive performance tonight from Canberra so far, at least. Bradley, will she put it up? George will. Melbourne, sharp. Combined for 40 points tonight and 17 rebounds between the pair of them. Now Melbourne draws a crowd. According to their foot on the sideline.
You could just see as she caught it, her heels just clipped that sideline. Because that was a set play. She backed her player down, passed it out to Melbourne, then sprinted to the three-point line in the corner as Melbourne penetrated.
Double-double for Alex Sharp tonight. 14 points, 13 boards. Delia Richards just one rebound away from a double-double as well. She's got 18 and 9. Panousis. Richards. George. Nicholson. George. Back out to Panousis. Shot clock to 6, and away comes Melbourne. Looking for an option. Richards puts the pressure on. Clark, Melbourne, wants some movement. Will take on Rowe. Will go herself and score.
She not only beat Kiara Rowe, but the outstretched arms of Kayla George as well.
2-point game. Richards to the corner for Nicholson. Against Clark. Canberra wanted the call for the sideline. Kristen Veal and her team imploring the refs. Say that Nicholson stepped out, call didn't come. And the whistle goes the other way. Here's another look. Couldn't quite catch it there on the replay. It was right in front of the Canberra bench. They all went up as one.
Great persistence by Lauren Nicholson to just keep her head down, keep that dribble alive, keep attacking that baseline.
If your youngster's already shooting hoops in the backyard or just looking to get out there and give basketball a try, Ford Aussie Hoops program, the perfect way to kick off their journey. For kids aged 5 to 10, register today, aussiehoops.basketball. Fantastic initiative growing the game around the country. 2-point game. Pressure starting to build, and Nicholson nails the first. 21 points for Loz. 22 now. Makes them both. Doubles the lead. It's back out to 4. And you see Melbourne looking to put some speed on early to see if something eventuates. Now it's about movement. Sharp. Bunton. Want to keep that ball in motion. Clark being pressured by Nicholson. Goes herself and rolls it in with a lovely finish.
Wasn't that a great left-hand finish by Jada Clark?
She's got some signs, doesn't she? A couple of glimpses in her game last week. Really impressive. Richards to the voice of Rowe. Back to Richards. Nicholson. Rowe. Sydney moving it around. George takes the shot, won't go, and away comes Melbourne again. Just puts the foot down, tries to create something early, loses the ball. They pile in on top. As we head to Megs.
Well, Jade, Melbourne's taking this game by the scruff of its neck. I spoke to her for ESPN during the week and asked her what's the one thing that she's brought back from her WNBA experience in her rookie season. with Seattle. She said confidence. She already plays with it, but it's instilled her and filled her with so much more confidence. She's up to 28 points. Can she, as co-captain, take her team on her shoulders in this final 3.5 minutes?
Appeared in 29 games in the WNBA season, averaged 11 minutes, which is a lot for a rookie coming in. Let's go inside the huddle, his guy.
We execute it. All right. On the second side here, sorry, when the ball is there, you're not giving it to that girl.
Yeah, I was out of control. She saved my
Right,
life.
well, everybody's out of control.
Yeah.
We've got no composure. So we've got to do little things well. So you have to set screens up, you have to use the screen, you have to roll hard. And at the end of this, there's got to be some belief that you can make the play or make the shot. So we're not shooting hope shots. We've got to be nasty enough here to execute to win. All right, now we're going to go here into a snap wide. We'll get Kayla and Loz. Two-man game will be open. You're on the rub action, pinning down. All right, here we go. Execute it. Composure. Now, Loz, you take Jade Melbourne. Hey, switch up with Loz. Loz has got Jade Melbourne.
Timeout brought to you by local Ford dealer, proudly supporting community basketball in Australia. Fantastic insight there from Guy Malloy inside the Sydney huddle. 2-point game, 3:27 to play. There's Jade Melbourne receiving some praise there from Kristen Veal. 2-point game. Under 3.5 to play. ESPN's WNBL Wednesday. It's been a belter. Still so much to play out. Nicholson receives from Bradley. Gets to the rack herself and finishes.
That's exactly the play that he called for. A two-man game between Kayla George and Lauren Nicholson coming off that screen. Whether she was open or Kayla was open, they were going to find that player.
Caps have drawn close so many times tonight. Full credit to the Flames, who have just every time had a response. Marching back out to 4. Clark versus Bradley. Jada receives back from Bunton, runs into George, and time expires. Great D from the Flames.
It was really good defense, and I have to give credit to Kayla George. She was out on the perimeter guarding Jade Melbourne, then she was back in the key. She switched and helped on that middle penetration and caused the jump ball, or the shot clock violation.
Argent at 4. There's George, the veteran, 16th season in the league. Playing game number 334 tonight. Bradley. Nicholson. George tries to take position against Sharps. Got it now. Will she put the spin move on? She will. She goes left. Won't drop. Melbourne to Potter. One of Australia's brightest young talents, Gemma Potter. Being harassed here by Rowe. Sharp. Shot clock down to 10. Will she go herself, Alex? She runs into some traffic and away comes Nicholson with a strip. Off to Bradley. Steps inside and scores. Big play for Sydney.
What a nice little Euro step by Bradley. Good kick ahead. Love that sort of basketball.
6-point game. 2 minutes to play. ESPN's WNBL Wednesday. Paige Bradley showing us some tricks tonight. The 29-year-old from Texas. 4 years of college ball at Denver. Went to Germany, played pro ball there for 5 years. Laurie has played NBL 1, played in New Zealand. She's a seasoned pro, a veteran floor general. And tonight she's shown her ability to not only facilitate, but score herself. She's up to 10 points.
Well, that was a great pass by Loz Nicholson to just get it ahead of her as she was running onto it. And then it had to be a strong finish. Defense was coming up right behind. So she's been crucial, and she'll need to be crucial in this last minute or so.
So 2:05 remaining. We'll stay out of the huddles, out of respect for the coaches in the final couple of minutes of the game. So, Laurie, what are the messages? If you're Guy Malloy right now, and then from Kristen's perspective?
Well, I think what he said the last time out was really very, very vital, and that's composure. So, you know, don't rush. If you're getting a screen, set your man up. Use the screen, roll. So everything has purpose, and that's what they looked like they were doing, that two-man game with Kayla George and Nicholson. And for Canberra, well, they have to be aware of the time and the score. So they're down by 6 points right now. they need to make sure they get stops, so up and in, deflections, whatever they can be disruptive. And I like the way they're pushing and attacking early in transition. If they can get some quick hitters, that'll really go a long way in putting some scoreboard pressure back on the Flames.
Megs was with the Caps.
It's amazing what nearly 12 months can do. Of course, Caps won just 2 games last season. They might have been in some games, but not up to their neck in it like this one. And the body language, the tone, the messaging from Kristen Veal and the input from her young team shows this is the expectation that has been set this season.
Thanks, Megs. So we're inside 2 minutes. It's been a fantastic battle at the Quaycentre. Caps aren't done yet. Melbourne, not done yet.
No, not done yet is right. Jade Melbourne coming up with the goods. A 3-point ball game.
Up to 31 points for Jade Melbourne. Bradley to Nicholson. Richards, beautiful feed to George.
So great to see at this stage in the game such great teamwork from both teams.
Back out to 5. Bunton set the screen, receives, can't make the shot drop. They scrap for it and Richards comes up with it.
They don't need a foul right yet, but they need to get a stop here.
Down to 1 minute. Richards. Nicholson.
Sydney can afford to take some time off the clock.
Offensive foul. Melbourne hits the floor hard.
That's what you call putting your body on the line for the team. With 54 seconds left, Jade Melbourne just stepped right in front of Loz Nicholson.
Took the wind out of Loz as well. They both hit the deck. The unforgiving hardwood. It is a Canberra ball. 5-point game, 54 seconds. Critical offensive set now for Canberra. And that freestyling, instinctive offense, this is when you've got to be brave, Laurie. If the shot is yours and you have the ball in your hands and you're open, Kristen Veal wants you to pull the trigger.
Well, they're going to need a fairly quick hitter here because they can't run the shot clock down and then have Sydney run the clock down as well. So they need to get a quick shot, whether it's a 3 or a 2.
Melbourne versus Nicholson. Sharp. Munga. Okoya cuts. Now Melbourne. Sharp lurking. Jade, long 3. Won't go.
Now they do need to foul to stop the clock.
They haven't.
You can hear Veal yelling, foul, foul.
Maybe a steal. It's still alive for Sharp. Can she finish? She can. But it's a 3-point game, 18 seconds left. They don't foul. They come up with the points. Now they need to stop.
Well,
wow.
It's really, it's really Sydney's to lose right now. They have all the eggs in their basket. However, Canberra, great job. So timeout's being called. Guy Malloy will talk about how he wants to play this. Most likely will advance the ball. They don't need to shoot it. So get the ball in Nicholson's hands, the best foul shooter there is in the competition right now, or Kayla George, although she hasn't been shooting that well tonight, but they don't need to take a shot. They just need to take care of the ball, get it in, and force the Capitals to foul them. If you look at their top scores, Nicholson 25, Jade Melbourne 31. Wow.
So if you're Kristen Veal, what's the instruction now?
So the instruction now is that you've got to try and get a steal in the out-of-bounds play. So you've got to switch everything. You've got to be in total denial. You've got to just try and come up with a steal if you can. If you don't, you've got to foul straight away. Whoever it is, doesn't matter. You've got to foul straight away to stop the clock. And then you hope that they go to the line and miss them, and you have a chance to come down and make a 3-point play. As I say, this is really Sydney's game to lose right now. So we'll see what the Capitals can come up with. Stranger things have happened in games, Jason.
Should they come up with a steal, Whose hands do you want the ball in for that last 3 shot, Laurie, from a Canberra perspective?
Well, given that Jade Melbourne just shot that long 3, she's got 31 points. Either her or Okoya, who I'm sure has come up with some big shots for Japan in her career.
Nicholson. She said no need to shoot it. They just need to be fouled and have Nicholson. And there it comes from Melbourne on Nicholson. They've got fouls to give.
So that's the thing is, you know, it's great to have foul discipline, but come that 4th quarter now, they've got to still get 2 more fouls before they send them to the line. Or 1 more, sorry.
So they can just play a passing game here, Sydney. Protect the ball. And they do just that. They play keepings off. Well played, nicely worked. Keep the ball moving, run down the clock. Beautifully worked from Sydney, great composure.
And that's one of those things that, and you know, both teams might not have had the opportunity to practice that yet, but you practice being in these situations. So you're 3 up, how much time's left, and you play, you pass and move and cut to try and keep the ball out of, you know, getting deflected or a steal. And if conversely, if you're Canberra, and they probably haven't even had a chance to practice that, but what you do in that situation if you're on defense.
Paige Bradley, great free throw shooter. 5 for 5 coming into tonight. So 6 for 6 now. Buys that insurance. Does it well. Really well played from Sydney. And all night, Laurie, they've had the answers. They haven't panicked. Canberra's come at them repeatedly. Got within 1 possession time after time. And every time, Sydney have had the response.
Well, that's what's been impressive about both teams. Sydney's had the response, but Canberra's kept at them the whole game and made them have to play excellent basketball to you know, get this 5-point margin that it is right now. And one of the things that stuck with me listening to a press conference with Chris Lucas was that it doesn't matter what team you come against, you have to come ready to play. So whether it's the top team versus the bottom team, whatever it is, you have to be ready to play. And even though the Capitals haven't won a game yet, wow, they are impressive. And Veely would be happy with this, but oh, that's so close. They'd want to be able to come out on top.
And the way that they play, Laurie, means they're a danger game every night because they will put the ball up, they'll take their shots, they'll attack you. And as Kristen said during the week, once they start dropping and they get that confidence and the rhythm that comes from that, look out. 5-point game, 2.6 seconds to play.
You know, and I like the fact that Veely's called a timeout with 2.6. They can't win the game right now. But again, it's a teaching opportunity for her. She'll have set up a play, see if they can execute this and come up with a shot to, you know, a 3-point shot or a 2-point shot that they might need if it's a tied game at some stage down the track.
So Melbourne with the inbound. Munger on the move. Sharp will go to the corner. Has to bring it in and just does in time. Okoya for the 3. Tough shot, won't drop. And the Flames score their first home win of the season. And they square their ledger at 2-2. They've got 10 days to continue betting in their new game plan ahead of a trip to Bendigo, while the Caps will head north to visit Townsville this Saturday night. Sydney 86, defeat Canberra 81.
That was just a highly entertaining game from the tip-off to that last shot we saw by Okoya. There was different people that stepped up. There was some brilliance in a couple of players in Lauren Nicholson and Jade Melbourne with her 31 points. But overall, there was just lots of contributors. And we talked about, you know, the defense. 86-81 is still good scores. You know, we talked about the Caps trying to get them under 80, given that they average 93 right now. So yes, there's a lot of work on defense, but wow, it's great to see the offensive structures of both teams.
Biggest margin in the game was 10 points. Caps hung around all night. In the end, the Flames get the win by 5 points. And Megs is with Lauren Nicholson, 25 points, 3 rebounds.
Well, Loz, Sydney are building their identity, and if we got a good glimpse into it tonight, it looks pretty exciting.
Yeah, it is a really exciting group. You know, we're still missing a couple of really important pieces, but I thought we really pulled together tonight, put on a really great offensive performance, and yeah, really, really proud of the girls.
How have you built on the chemistry? We know that it's a very new look team. Kayla came in late. You've got a couple of injuries, 2 new imports. How's it been done?
Yeah, look, it's always hard putting in people late, but I think it's coming together nicely, and I think that we showed that tonight. And we do have a couple of really exciting players. You know, Dee, she's awesome to watch, great teammate, and Paige tonight was awesome for us.
Yeah, she sure was. You're fit, you're top scoring and leading your team to victory. It must feel so good.
It does feel good. Hopefully we can just continue this and get some more wins on the board.
How good is it to be back home in New South Wales with the family? They're a huge reason why you moved back. You seem so happy, Loz.
Yeah, I am really happy. Love being back in Sydney. I love that my family and friends are here to watch every single game. And, you know, little Noah in the crowd, my sister's baby, it's awesome to see her there. And, you know, being back with Jake and my mum around as well, it's really nice.
You mentioned Jake. That is your partner, Jacob Jackomis, who until yesterday was the head coach of the Illawarra Hawks. It's been a tough 24 hours. You guys as a couple have been through the ups and downs together through basketball. How do you continue to support each other on the roller coaster?
Yeah, look, he'll be fine. He's here tonight and, you know, he'll get back on the basketball train soon. And, yeah, it's really nice he's here tonight supporting me.
You were making him smile, that's for sure. Go and give Noah a hug. She was chanting your name during the game when I was doing one of my crosses. So go and see your fans. Well done tonight, Lottie.
Thanks, Meg.
Thanks to Lauren Nicholson, 25 points for her, led the game. Dee Richards with a double-double, 18 and 10 rebounds, 12 for Paige Bradley. And here's a look at the road ahead for the Flames. As I mentioned, Laurie, they've now got 10 days off before their next game, a trip to Bendigo, so a chance to really work on some things with Guy Malloy, some good, hard training blocks for players like Kayla, who just came in at the last moment.
Yeah, they'll really enjoy that or make use of that 10 days. And you know, Guy Malloy, he's very systematic in his offense and defense, so it does take time. But I thought they took huge steps today in the way that they performed together as a team, and it'll be great for them to watch back some of the real positives out of this game moving forward.
Still got Tess Madgen and Shanice Swain to come back into this lineup. No definitive timeline on their return as yet. Well, the star of the show from a Caps perspective was Jade Melbourne. 31 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, and here she is with Megs.
Well, Jado, you were just saying you've got to be happy with that. There was a lot of positives for the Caps tonight.
Yeah, you know, we responded last week. We got done by 25 points. So to come out, you know, we had a week of hard truths. We know we don't want to be in that position ever again. And, you know, to come up short 5 points against that team, I mean, couldn't be prouder of the girls' effort, and the way we responded is great. And I know that first win's not far away.
There's been a huge change in this group. You know, 2 wins last season, and getting close and leading a game like this last season would have been a valiant effort. But it seems now the bar has been set high. This is the expectation.
Yeah, 100%. You know, we don't come into games wanting to lose and just progress. We want to win, and we want to get better every game. And I think we took a few steps in the right direction tonight. So, like I said, couldn't be prouder of the girls' effort. And yeah, you know, we're going to win a few games this year. We're going to come out, we're going to come firing. We know we're young, we know we've got a lot to learn, but we're willing to do the work. And yeah, we can't wait for our next opportunity.
Another opportunity and a big test this weekend. You must be excited to take on the Fire.
Yeah, you know, we head up there tomorrow, a little bit of team bonding, get to hang out with one another. I think it's the best place for us to be right now. And yeah, get to take on a quality opponent in the Fire. So looking forward to it, and I know we're going to respond and be better again.
The best smile in the business, everyone. Jade Melbourne.
Thank you.
Thanks to Jade and Megan. There's the road ahead for Canberra off to Townsville this Saturday night. As I mentioned, they'll be hoping to get Alex Fowler back, who's a Townsville local. She's been ill this week, and her presence would make a big difference, Laurie. You take a look at points in the paint. It was 42-32 in the end in favour of Sydney. Just another big body in there to support the likes of Bunton and Okoye and Sharp would make a big difference for this Caps lineup.
Oh, she's had a real influence the first couple of games, and so it was, you know, unfortunate that she missed this game. But there were some players that stepped up in her absence. So, but again, another body. It'll be tough to have that follow-up game against Townsville.
So 31 points for Jade Melbourne in the end, 17 for Monica Okoye, including 13 in that dynamic opening term, 16 for Sharp, 11 for Munga. So again, they've managed to get 4 players into double figures as they share the scoring load. From a Sydney perspective, 25 for Nicholson, 18 for Richards, and 12 for Paige Bradley. And Paige Bradley provided some pop tonight, Laurie.
She did. She was great. She was really good leadership. She brought the scoring punch herself a little bit, some crucial baskets when they needed it. And I really like the fact that Kayla George, 6 points, and they were still able to come up with a win.
So from both coaches' perspectives, we'll start with Kristen Veal. What did she like tonight, and what's she taking away to continue working on?
I think I would like the way the team is just playing. They play hard, regardless of the scoreline, they're playing hard. But I thought they made really good, basically some really good decisions tonight on the fly and on the move. They need to sharpen up their defense in some areas. And for Guy Malloy, well, he would be taking a lot of positives out of the chemistry that his team had and was running some of his structures. Defensively, some gaps, but overall a great performance.
Let's look ahead to round 3 as it continues in the Cygnett WNBL. Perth Lynx taking on Bendigo. Annalee Maley faces her old team for the first time. Perth and Bendigo Friday night. And it's Adelaide and Southside. Adelaide hunting their first home win of the season as they host the Flyers. Townsville will be breathing fire after their 17-game win streak was snapped. They host the Caps. And the unbeaten Boomers host the Spirit at the Boombox. All these games streaming live and free around Australia on 9 Now as round 3 continues. Well, that wraps up ESPN's WNBL Wednesday. Sydney picking up the win on behalf of Laurie Chiswick, Megan Huswaite, our entire production team. Thanks so much for watching. Join us again next Wednesday night. Revealing clash, the Flyers and the Lynx on WNBL Wednesday, right here on your home of hoops, ESPN.